Odyssey scholars, we have made it past and away from the big old one-eyed giant, the Cyclops Polyphemus, and Odysseus and his men are off to sea, and they have some more stops that they need to make. And it's not that they need to make them, it's that, as we've seen, they're dealing with some of the gods and goddesses, and some of them aren't happy with them all the time, and some of them are happy with them some of the time. So sometimes they're trying to blow him off course and make his trek home really, really difficult. And so there are some more stops along the way that we've got to discuss and talk about. So the next part of the Odyssey, our epic journey with our epic hero, Mr. Odysseus, deals with the Witch Circe. So follow along with me as I read through the text, because you may need to fill out some work dealing with this text. So here we go. The Witch Circe. After sailing from Cyclops' island, Odysseus and his men land on the island of Aeolia. There, the Wind King, Aeolus, does Odysseus a favor. He puts all the stormy winds in a bag so that they will not harm the Ithacans. The bull's hide bag containing the winds is wedged under Odysseus' afterdeck. But during the voyage, the suspicious and curious sailors open the bag, thinking it contains treasure. And the evil winds roar up into the hurricanes to threaten the luckless Odysseus again. After many of his men are killed and eaten by the gigantic cannibals called Laestrygonians, Odysseus' ship lands on Aea, the home of the witch Circe. Here, a party of 23 men, led by Eurylochus, goes off to explore the island. Odysseus is still telling his story to King Alcinous and his court. In the wild wood they found an open glade, around a smooth stone house, the hall of Circe, and wolves and mountain lions lay there, mild in her soft spell, fed on her drug of evil. None would attack. Oh, it was strange, I tell you, but switching their long tails, they faced our men like hounds, who look up when their master comes with tidbits for them, as he will, from table. Humbly those wolves and lions with mighty paws fawned on our men, who met their yellow eyes and feared them. In the entranceway they stayed to listen there. Inside her quiet house they heard the goddess Circe. Low she sang, in her beguiling voice, while on her loom she wove ambrosial fabric sheer and bright, by that craft known to the goddesses of heaven. No one would speak until Pylades, most faithful and likable of my officers, said, "Dear friends, no need for stealth. Here's a young weaver singing a pretty song to set the air a-tingle on these lawns and paven courts. Goddess she is, or lady. Shall we greet her?" So reassured, they all cried out together, and she came swiftly to the shining doors to call them in. All but Eurylochus, who feared a snare. The innocents went after her. On thrones she seated them, in lounging chairs, while she prepared a meal of cheese and barley and amber honey mixed with Pramient wine, adding her own vile pinch to make them lose desire or thought of our dear fatherland. Scarce had they drunk when she flew after them with her long stick and shut them in a pigsty, bodies, voices, heads, and bristles, all swinish now, though minds were still unchanged. So, squealing, in they went, and Circe tossed them acorns, mast, and cornelberries, fodder for hogs who rut and slumber on the earth. Down to the ship Eurylochus came running to cry alarm. Foul magic doomed his men. But working with dry lips to speak a word, he could not, being so shaken. Blinding tears welled in his eyes. Foreboding filled his heart. When we were frantic questioning him, at last we heard the tale our friends were gone. Odysseus leaves the ship and rushes to Circe's hall. The god Hermes stops him to give him a plant that will weaken Circe's power. Homer calls it a moly. It might have been a kind of garlic. Protected by the plant's magic, Odysseus resists Circe's sorcery. The witch, realizing she has met her match, frees Odysseus's men. Now Circe, loveliest of all immortals, persuades Odysseus to stay with her. There, Odysseus shares her meat and wine, and she restores his heart. But, after many seasons of feasting and other pleasures, Odysseus and his men beg Circe to help them get home. She responds to their pleas with the command that Odysseus alone descend to the land of the dead, the cold homes of Death and pale Persephone, queen of the underworld. There, Odysseus must seek the wisdom of the blind prophet Tiresias.